Hi, and welcome to a special edition of our Cheltenham 2022 anti-post chats with the bookies foe. If you're used to watching our videos, you may know that we have got a few reselections to do. So that's what we're going to do this evening, starting with the Gold Cup and our reselection. Instead of having Envoy Allen, we now have a new horse to back, which is...
Hiya, Pen. Yeah. So 2 weeks out now, it's getting very exciting, and markets are beginning to form, and I know we've got quite a bit to get through here. So I'll be as quick as I possibly can for you.
Don't worry, I'll keep things moving on.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. So the first one is the Gold Cup. Envoy Allen is out. The reselection is Tornado Flyer. And 12 months ago, if you were to say Tornado Flyer could win a Gold Cup, people would call you a madman. Look, his form really tailed off in the last year or two. But, what's important to note here is that Willie always maintained this was a Grade 1 horse. And I saw an interview with Willie at the start of the season in which he had stated that he believes this is a Gold Cup horse. He won the King George really well on Boxing Day, and his Cheltenham form is really strong. He was third in the bumper in 2019. He finished really strongly against Sam Crow and the Turners in 2020. His jumping let him down that day. But last year he was third behind Allaho and the Ryanair, and that was a really, really good run. He finished very, very strong. So this horse is a very solid each way bet in the Gold Cup.
Brilliant. Great. And moving on to the Arkle then. So Aspire Tower is out.
Yeah. So Aspire Tower is out, and I'm very excited about our reselection here. I've gone for Cur Sublime. Big price, finished second in a Triumph, then came back as a returning juvenile as a 5-year-old and struggled, as 90% of them do. So you won't judge him too harshly on that. He's now with Henry, and his big problem over the last year or two is he's been traveling beautifully, jumping impeccably. An impeccable jumper. He's the best jumper in this Arkle field. Make no mistake about that. He hasn't been finishing out his races though, and I was thinking he was a bit of a windy horse. There was a problem with his wind or whatever. But the last day, his last 2 runs, something has changed. He gave Fernie Hollow a fright. He really did give Fernie Hollow a fright the last day. And his last time out run, he won by 10 lengths at Gowron. Now that wasn't such a great race, but he hit the line strong. So we have a horse here that seems to have sorted out his some sort of issue that he might have had, and he is the best jumper in this field, and he's well overpriced. And I think we got 16s, so I'm happy enough to put him in.
Great, lovely. Moving on to Champion Hurdle.
Yeah.
So we need to replace You Wears It Well.
Indeed. I've gone for, people are going to laugh here, but you need to just take a step back here. Saint Roy is 33 to 1, and people don't give him any sort of chance in this race.
Right. Why is that?
I think there's a few reasons. His last 4 runs have come at Leopardstown on really soft ground. I don't think Leopardstown suits him. I don't think soft ground suits him. I think he wants decent ground. I think Cheltenham's his track. When he ran in the county hurdle and won it, he won it so impressively a couple of years ago. Willie was interviewed in the days leading up to that Cheltenham Festival, and when St. Roy was mentioned, he had a beaming smile on his face. Now, the fact that Willie's entered him in this, like Willie doesn't enter a horse in a champion hurdle if he thinks he's a 33 to 1 shot. I think he's massively overlooked. He's had a really bad start to the season, St. Roy, but Willie had a slow start to the season. St. Roy didn't make his debut until Boxing Day. He's only ran twice this season. I think he's a spring horse. I think Cheltenham suits him. I think he's massively underrated. If you look at his form and if you analyse his form, he's never a 33-1 shot for the champion hurdle.
Oh, wow.
So
That's what we like. Very good.
yeah.
Ryanair. So
Yeah, the Ryanair. We have lost a big Getaway. He's injured by all accounts, but I'm gonna put Fakir Dudery in here. I think we got 12s. I think he's very solid.
yeah,
I think he's an improving horse. I think Cheltenham suits him. He was second to Allaho last year. He was impressive at Ascot the last day. I think there's not a lot of negatives you can say about him, and you're getting 12-1. I think Allaho is very, very, very strong here to retain his crown once again. But for an each way angle in this race, I think Fakir is a lot better than a lot of the market principles for this race, and I think it's a really solid each way bet.
yeah.
without having to go into too much detail. He just ticks a lot of boxes here, and I think he's solid.
Great. Now the stayers, unfortunately, both horses need to be reselected.
Indeed.
So
The stayers. I found two horses here, Pen, and I am extremely excited about these two. I really am. They're both massive prices.
wow.
The race is wide open. The Stayers hurdle is wide open, and I actually like a lot of the principles. They're just too short. I think Classical Dream looked drugged out of his nuts the last day. he didn't look like a racehorse the last day, so I'm going to put a line through that, and he'd be my idea of the winner. Flooring Porter obviously has a chance to retain it. He's the current champion. He won it last year. I think Champ's too old. I think Paisley Park's too old, as much as I like them both. But first selection here is Song for Someone.
Right.
And I am really excited about this horse, right? He's been running far too often over 2 miles. And I think a step up in trip is going to bring the improvement out in this fella. He's a multiple grade 2 winner. And I think to win his grade 1, he needs a step up to 3 miles. I think Cheltenham really suits him. He's ran twice at Cheltenham. He beat Silver Streak, who we all know how good Silver Streak is, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. He was second to Guard Your Dreams at Cheltenham back in December, and an inadequate 2 miles. And he was very disappointed then at Sandown the last day over a very inadequate 2 miles. So if you look at Cheltenham, if you look at the step up and trip, if you look at his form when he's been stepped up, this is a potential grade 1 winner over 3 miles. And we have a bonkers price about this fella. I think we got 50s, Pen, did we?
I think so. I'll have a look at the new chart at the end.
We'll have a look at the chart at the end, but 50-1 on Song for Someone. Now the second selection, just very similar. We got 66-1 about Commander of Fleet for the Stayers hurdle, and people are going to be roaring and laughing again when I mention this horse, right? Because if you look at his form, you've pulled ups, you've Fs, you've 10s by his form figures, and it doesn't look, it's not happy reading, but you have to analyze it. You have to analyze it. He has had niggling injuries. Nothing serious, but niggling injuries that have had him out and had him underperforming, coming back. The time Denise Foster took over Gordon Elliott's stable, I'm not going to judge any of Gordon's horses while Denise Foster was in charge. I'm not saying she's any no disrespect to Denise, but the horses were disorientated. They weren't happy. It was unusual for them, and they're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
But what you have to analyze is back in the 2019 Cheltenham Festival on semi-decent ground, Commander of Fleet was 2 lengths behind Manila Indo and Albert Bartlett. And Manila Indo went on to win a Cheltenham Gold Cup. This horse, as long as it's not very soft on the day, this horse has a chance in the stayers. I'm telling you now, he's well overpriced at 66 to 1. And I'm very excited.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Put him on the chart. Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
And lastly, the Ballymore. We needed to change.
Ballymore, yeah. Jerry Colom's come out. I hope he's not injured. I hope it's more of a case of what I would have done. He's a big raw horse, and maybe he's going to be given another year, or I don't know whether he's been reselected for another race. I'm not sure, but I've looked at the market. It's a really tricky one, Pen. It really is a tricky one. But I've stumbled across Classic Getaway, who I believe has the record for the most expensive purchase of a National Hunt horse. Had a very interesting prep this season. He won his debut easy enough, but then he was put up against Cashback, who was a seasoned chaser on very heavy ground. Now Cashback beat him, but I think it was an eye-catching run from a novice hurdler, against a seasoned chaser. And I think because Willie's had such a slow start to the season, and he knows he needed maybe to get a proper battle into this horse to have him ready for the Ballymore. That's why he put him up against Cashback. That's just my feeling with it.
Yeah.
I think he's overpriced, and I think he has a decent chance each way in the Ballymore. But it was a tough one now going through that market.
Yeah.
Because you've still many horses in the Ballymore that probably might run in the Supreme, and I think Classic Getaway will definitely run in the Ballymore.
Okay. Well, just looking at the old chart just for a second, we've still has the bumper on there, but we're omitting the bumper now, aren't we?
Yeah. The bumper is, if I'm going to be honest, the bumper is not a race that I'm a big fan of, to be honest.
No.
And I think it will be phased out at some point. So,
well, our chart now is full. So just give us a little bit of just explanation of, as this is our first time in our sort of experiment in anti-post bets. So what's at stake? How have we put it together?
Yeah, it's our first year looking at it, and depending on how well we do, we might do it a little bit more in future years. I'm not a big anti-post punter. I like to look at races an hour before they go off and analyze them that way. But we've done this, and the one thing we have done then is we found some huge prices there. So we are including the reselections. So we've taken the tenner hit. So we're going to invest a tenner on each horse, a £5 each way. And the non-runners, we've taken the £10 hit on them. So it means, as the chart looks now, we're £360 invested in the anti-post market for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can eke out a profit. And I think we can. I'm confident we will. So.
Well, it's definitely exciting, and only a little bit of time left to go. We're still going to have a video next week, though, aren't we?
Yeah. So next week we're going to do the horses we believe are short price favourites, but we believe they're going to get beaten. So a video next week on horses to lay. Some people call them Bismarcks.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's going to be a lucrative one as well, because there's far too many short priced horses in this Cheltenham Festival that are not going to win.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. That'll be interesting.
Yep.
So I will catch up with you next week. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pen.
See you now. Bye.
Bye.